Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, wherever you are in the world. This is Paul Turner and the 4K Club team from the UK, trying to get you to $4,000 a month as quickly as possible so you can quit your job and then move on to even greater things. Just something to mention tonight. If you want to come and watch this, hang out every week, 8:30 p.m. on a Tuesday, UK time. We've set up a link now, which is 4kclub.info/live. And the hangout will always be on that URL. So if you want to promote it out to other people, you can put /ID equals, and you can put your username on the end if you're an Xplocial. So feel free to promote it out, even if you're not in our wonderful 4K Club team. But it just makes it consistent for everybody and makes it easy to remember. Secondly, I just want to say how pleased I am how well this team is coming together, because we all bring different skills to the mix, and we're starting to work together a lot more. And we've even got an honorary guest today with Craig Page, who's from another team, but we're not precious. And that's one of the things I love about this, is that we all help each other out. So welcome, Craig. How you doing? So, Sarah's got a load of experience. Mark's got a load of experience. I've got experience. John's got experience. Sue in America is our honorary American that helps us. Anything we want to know about America, we always ask Sue. So we're doing really, really well, and we're all starting to really gel together. So it's a great team to be part of. If anybody's looking, I can vouch for these guys, and I'd go into battle with these guys. So tonight we're doing something a little bit different. While we're anxiously waiting for the launch of Xplocial 2 with the new back office, we do now have a savings calculator and an income calculator. And Mark, talking about different expertise, Mark has a product that helps people get rid of their debt, because you end up, and Mark will probably explain more, but how you end up actually, you're not working for yourself, you're actually working to pay off your credit card company, your mortgage company, and so on and so on. So Mark's going to tell us a bit more about that, and how we can use the savings calculator and the income calculator to help people get out of that. So that's my job pretty much done for tonight. Mark, over to you.
Thank you, Paul. It's probably a good starting point, I think, is to just talk about what is the sort of average salary, the average wage that people are earning, both in, I guess, for the audience for this, really the US and the UK markets. And I've just been doing a bit of research before I came online today, just to see what that sort of the median level was in both countries. And it's actually very similar when you sort of bring it down to a dollar amount. I mean, in the US, the median average monthly amount is about $3,450. A bit more sort of moves up to about $5,000–6,000 if you're in a sort of more senior management position. But that's the middle. That's the middle, the 50% mark, so to speak. In reality, if you start looking at the average, we're probably talking a bit less than that, and I suspect we're probably talking maybe the $3,500 mark. When you come to the UK, then converting things into dollars again, we're looking about $3,300, about £250 for those that understand that. And that's based on a conversion of about 1.5, which is, we're not going bad conversion rate right now, so it's not a bad time to be going over to the States if you're from the UK. So why have I mentioned that? Well, I've mentioned that because there are sort of two aspects, I guess, to what we're doing within the 4K Club. One is to do clearly with replacing our income if we choose to do that, and we're looking at $4,000 because that's going to have a significant impact on most people. If that 50% mark is $3,500, then we're talking, I suspect when we start looking at the percentages, we're probably in the top 25% of earners in the US in reality. And that's on $4,000. Similarly, in the UK, it's probably similar sort of figures. That's £3,000 a month. It's a lot of money to a lot of people. And funny enough, I've been doing the first payroll. I work as a management consultant and as an accountant, and I've just been doing my first payroll for about 10 years. And I have to be honest, I'm a bit shocked how little people earn. I've got sort of slightly removed from it, I guess. Over time, and people, some of the things that we're talking about, and we talk about with the 4K Club and with Xplocial, can have a significant impact on everyone's life. whether you're a high earner or not. So why have I mentioned that? I've mentioned that because when we talk about breaking free from debt to financial freedom, one of the areas I look at is, how much are you earning, but how much are you really earning for yourself? And I have a simple calculator that says, for example, if I'm earning in my pocket $2,000 every month, and I'm paying sort of $1,000 on loans, for my car, for my house, those sorts of things, then that's 50% of my income that I'm not actually earning. I'm earning it for other people, and that frightens me personally. And the reason I did this in the first instance was I was earning a lot of money at one time before the recession, and started spending money, starting creating the commitments that you would expect to generate, I guess, because we like spending the money we earn. And when that income reduced substantially, then all of a sudden I was left with not much money coming in and a huge amount of expenditure. And creditors who don't care whether you're earning the money or not, they want paying every single month. And I'd gone up to about 65, 70% of the money I was earning every single month was going across to my creditors. Now, thankfully, things have changed, and I've used the particular program that I promote, which is something I documented for myself and it's free to people, to help me do that. And it's all about two key aspects, really. One is about obviously saving money. If you save money, that's the same as getting a pay rise, in my book. If you're earning $3,000 a month and you can save $1,000 a month, that's massive, isn't it? That's effectively $1,000 a month pay rise. Who wouldn't want that? But the other side of it, if we can then create some time and generate some income and start to get to a point where we actually have our own time freedom, the money to do the things we want to do, then certainly for all of the people that are watching this, all the people on the call, that's exactly why we do it. It's well worthwhile. So coming back to Xplocial, as we know, certainly at the time of this video, is going through a change. We've got a massively enhanced version that's being released, and there are two fabulous tools for us that just show us the real value of Xplocial to us, whether you're someone that just wants to save money or you're someone who actually wants to earn some money as well. So what I'm going to show you, I'm just going to share my screen, and what I want to do is to show you the Xplocial website and some particular calculators that Paul mentioned, the first one being the savings, to give ourselves a pay rise and give ourselves an instant pay rise without having the hassle of going to our boss and asking for it. So let me just share that screen with you. So what we have here is the new Xplocial website, and I love this because it tells us exactly what it is that Xplocial does for us. It allows us to save more, it allows us to earn more, and ultimately it allows us to live better. And it does that in a number of ways. Now I'm going to start with the membership, and this is membership that gives us access to some incredible discounts. And this is, if you are in Xplocial or you want to be in Xplocial, this is actually a fabulous tool to help us introduce people who are interested in saving money, because it starts to give us something real. It shows people for real what it is that they can save. And you can see just on the left-hand side here, just give you a very brief outline, there are two membership levels. We have basic and premium membership, and you can see that both of them offer some valuable discounts and savings. But the one I'm going to talk about, and the one I'm going to talk about in terms of the saving calculator, is the premium membership, because that's the one that gives us access to some incredible discounts that are applicable across the whole range of expenses that we have, both one-off expenses and everyday expenses. So I'm going to go straight into the savings calculator. And we start off, it just takes you through step by step what is it that is appropriate for you. And it's very simple to answer this. So start off with how many people in the household. I'm going to do this for me. I mean, it's well worth you plugging into the Xplocial website and trying this for yourself. But I'm going to show you me. I live in the UK, but I'm going to assume I'm in the States, which is something I'd like to do in not too distant future. So in our household, there's 4 of us. So let me move on from there. So already, that's suggesting that I can save over $4,000, and that's $4,000 based on discounts, retail savings on everyday items, and not just at obscure organisations either. You know, it's Walmart, Home Depot, Best Buy, organisations like that on all sorts of things, movie tickets, dining out. There's a whole manner of areas. If you want to buy a new bike, for example, there are discounts to buy a new bike. The other thing we want to do is look at some healthcare savings as well. So it's probably worth just saying this isn't a healthcare insurance. So this is something where if you want to augment your healthcare and get the best treatment that you can, then this is something it can help you do. So let's say we want to go to the dentist once a year. I'll keep that. Normally, actually, I'm going to say twice because it's recommended we do it every 6 months. So that's for the 4 of us. Again, now we're starting to get some savings because we're starting to get savings at significant levels on our dental care. And look at legal services. So I don't know about you, I have made a will and it was very, very expensive. Cost me a couple of £1,000 just because of some of the things that were going on. It is fairly complex. So the opportunity to... Sorry?
Not everybody has your money.
I know they don't, exactly.
Well, your will was so expensive.
Yeah. But even if you don't, I mean, it's important that you have a will, because that's having my mother, when she died, didn't have a will, and the hassle that caused the family was immense. So just understanding what she wanted to do with her assets and her money, although she didn't have a great deal, and also who was going to benefit from it became a big issue because of a lack of a will. So it's always worth having one. And the other thing is, do you want to consult with a lawyer? The reality of life, whether it be in the States or the UK, is that I think it's fairly litigious. And there's a need, whether it's the fact that you're trying to contest a traffic ticket or something like that, there's more often than not a need to see a lawyer, and I'm going to say once a year. So we're already up to 7,000 of savings, and we haven't finished yet. So the next level is some other areas associated with healthcare. So do you have prescriptions? Many people now, there's obviously a lot of obesity around, and many people have a really rattle with the number of pills that they're having to take every day. And also, like if you're like me, you wear glasses, so you may want to, and you do need to have regular eye tests, and you'll need to change the lens, the prescription lens. So in my household, there's 2 of us that have, there's 1 of us, my wife's diabetic, so she has ongoing prescription medication, and 2 of us who wear glasses and contacts. So that's given us some extra savings. The next thing is to do with vacations, with our vehicles. So I'm going to be, I suggest we only have 1 holiday a year, and well, we've got 2 cars, and whilst it would be nice to change them every 3 years, I'm going to say change them every 5 years, because I think that's more realistic. So we're up to, and this is my situation, we're up to $9,000 of saving, and that's nearly $47,000 over 5 years. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to open up some questions on that, actually, because I think that's worthwhile doing. Just bear with me.
Frozen. Chilled.
Oh. So, has anyone? What are your thoughts on those savings? You know, there we've got $9,000 through. I think it's fair to say it's a fairly typical family. How do you feel about that? I'm particularly used to over in the States.
Yeah, I sent it to my friend over in the States, and he saved 5,700 on his annual family bill.
Really? And that's a real saving?
Yeah, yeah.
Mark, are you going to cover a little bit about your? I've been through your sort of debt relief program, if you like, and I know you have sort of a calculation of what you should save every month to be able to get out of debt quickly. Are you going to cover that, or?
I can do. I can cover that very quickly. While
because I think this makes it really, really real. What the formula is, you know, I think we can both say it's brilliant because I don't think it was your formula originally, was it? So
no, it's a formula that's been around for centuries, if not longer than that. And in fact, if I don't know if any of you have read The Richest Man in Babylon, which is a great book, which is about really talking about how you get out of debt and also the mindset that you need to get out of debt as well. So the Break Free program, I guess, is very simple, and the idea is that if you actually look at the costs that you're paying out and the cost of debt, and you start adding up all of the repayments that you have on your debt, the amount of interest you're paying is obscene, to be honest. Yeah, I see that. It's actually obscene. So, for example, if you take out a credit card and you only pay the minimum on that credit card, then you're going to be paying back 4, 5, 6 times the amount that you actually borrowed, if not more than that. And some of the rules have changed now around the way interest is calculated. I mean, it used to be up to about 8 times originally. It's come down to about 6 from memory in terms of last calculations I did. And similarly, if you have a house and a mortgage on your house, I think what's quite frightening is that we think we go and borrow sort of $100,000 for argument's sake. When you actually look at how much you actually spend, and if you're doing that, say over 25 years, 20 years, something like that, you're probably having to pay at least double the amount you borrowed, if not more, maybe 2.5 times the amount you borrowed. But what's worse is, it's not really the amount, it's 2.5 times you borrowed, it's how much you actually have to earn to pay that off. So if you think you've got to pay $2,500, say you have to pay back $250,000 over that period of time. In reality, you're probably going to have to earn about $400,000 just to pay that off, just to borrow $100,000. So where the break free comes in, for whether it's credit cards, car loans, mortgages, or whatever, is to give ourselves the ability to accelerate those payments and reduce massively the amount of interest we pay. So we become more wealthy because we've paid off our debt that much quicker, but we haven't actually paid out that sum of money because we haven't paid out all that interest. And the way to go about that, I mean, this is something that's actually achievable from the money that we earn today, which is why I like focusing on, can we make savings? And also I like focusing on, can I earn more to accelerate it? But essentially, the way it works is that we look at the income we're generating, whether you want to use the gross income before tax or your income after tax. What I like to say is you need to set aside 10% of that income and use that to pay your debt. And we use a sort of, it's called the snowball method, if you look at it. And essentially what you do is, there's a number of different ways of doing it. I like to keep things simple so that I order my debts in increasing size. So the reason I do that is that we all like to have achieved something. And even if you've got, say, a $500 loan, if you can pay that off very quickly, say within a month, maybe 2 months, then you've achieved something. And that gives you an incentive to keep going. If you don't do that, if you choose perhaps the most expensive, sometimes that's one of the bigger debts, and you feel like you're not actually getting anywhere. So whilst perhaps financially it might be a better approach to take the most expensive one, I think from a more practical and our ability to actually follow through with the plan, doing it in the smallest first and then wade through. And the idea is that you pay the least amount that you have to pay, so the minimum amount on your credit cards, on your loans and anything else. You don't make any extra payments other than the minimum. And then that 10%, you add that to your payment each month to the first one. And you do that until you've actually finished paying it. Then when you finish paying that, what you have available is the 10% that you found, plus the repayment that you had on that first, say, credit card. And then you add that to the repayment on the second one. And it just snowballs down and starts to speed up massively the amount you're paying. And I have some very simple sort of spreadsheets and forms that can be used to generate that, to understand the way, and actually to set a specific date in your calendar to say, I'll be debt free. And remember, this is based on money you already earn.
There's a big flaw with the plan, though, isn't there, Mark? Because where can most people, on average family, save 10% of what they bring in?
Yeah. And what you don't want to do is live like a hermit. And the danger with this is people... the danger with that is if you do, well, you still want to live a life. You still want to enjoy yourself. You still want to have new experiences. So we can all save 10%, but actually 10% of what, ultimately? So the idea behind, and what is so crucial for me and so great, which is why I'd really highly recommend Xplocial with this savings, is that if I can save, for argument's sake, so we were looking at 9,000 savings for me. Now, if that's a true saving, and I've got and we've seen from Craig that people are really saving some substantial amounts, then, and let's say 6, because it was nearly 6,000 that Craig's friend actually had achieved. That's $500 a month. So $500 a month, coming back to what the average salary was at, say, what did I say, 3,500 per month, and that's gross. So it may be more like sort of 2.5, maybe 2,750. That's nearly 20%, and certainly you can get up to 20% of what you're earning. Just think how fast that would allow you to pay this off. And once you've done that, you've got all of that money, and we can be talking substantial amounts of money. It could be $2,000, that sort of thing. That we can then start investing in other things. So I'm sure you've all heard of Rich Dad Poor Dad. Talks about investing in property, for example, but generating this income that comes in whether we're working or not. And that's actually part of what Xplocial is about as well, in terms of the income side of it. It's another source. You can start investing in it, both in terms of time and some money, to generate this. It's called residual recurring income, but it's a way of working. It's basically not working time for money, which most of us do, our job, where how much we earn is limited by the amount of time we've got. And I'm in exactly the same situation. I might charge a lot per day, but I've only got so many hours in a day that I can charge. So I can't earn anymore, however good I am, unless I use other tools, unless I spread myself in some other way. And that's where the internet world is so great for us. So
I think the genius is it just makes it so easy to save 10%, doesn't it? It's just,
of course.
that's a survey.
Yeah, and I don't like the phrase, but it is a no-brainer for me, because we're talking about, and it's probably worth just talking very quickly about how much it costs. There's a basic level which is initially $99 with $49 a month, which is sort of pay-as-you-go, which gives you access to some of these savings. But if you want access to the full savings, the full sort of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and beyond, then you need to sign up for the Premier, which is initially $199 and then $129 a month. And that's capped then at 24 months, so that's capped at 2 years. You don't pay beyond that. So, I looked at $9,000 a month, sorry, a year. That'd be nice a month, wouldn't it? $9,000 a year for paying $129 a month.
Cool. Craig's got a question. Craig, fire away.
Yeah.
Hi, Mark. I'm just wondering. Obviously, a lot of the products over there in the US. I'm just wondering if you had any statistics on the average sort of debt in the UK household.
The UK, I'm talking from memory now. I did some analysis a little while ago. What was it? It was about. I get confused now between the US and the UK nowadays. But from memory, I think it was about 18,000.
Yeah, so we know that the UK are hurting as well.
Yeah, of course they are. And I think what we're seeing as well, funnily enough, is we're seeing debt going up again. So as it's come across in the States, it's certainly happening in the UK, and I've seen, looking at the government statistics in both countries, what we're seeing now is that people started paying off debt. But I think, in my view, falsely, there's sort of a bit of a false dawn going on, that people are starting to think, well, no, I can start spending my money again, or either they're fed up of not spending money, whatever it may be. And I see people starting to move into a position of, I'm going to finance my lifestyle again through debt.
I think what I like about the Xplocial model on a global scale, really, is the fact that we're not getting a great deal of help from the governments. It's now down to people to look elsewhere and find alternative methods of reducing their outgoings and increasing their income.
Yeah, I totally agree. But we all talk about, we talk about people taking responsibility, don't we? For their own life, for their own lifestyle, and this is just part and parcel of that. I mean, if we want the freedom that obviously money and time provides, and this working for ourselves in whatever industry it is provides, if you do it in the right way, then you have to take responsibility for it. And I think the beauty of So
this is another point with the Xplocial model, that you're self-employed. There's actually even more savings there from the fact that you can take tax back off your accommodation, your travel, your clothing, your entertainment, your networking, all these sort of issues. So there's actually a hidden benefit of the things that you would do when you're an employed person. You're probably going to get another 10, 15, maybe 20% back on the things you would do from a tax benefit, isn't it?
And I think
don't forget, guys, that there are global savings in there as well. Particularly travel, car rental, hotels, things like that. We get very focused on the US stuff. But I just got my tablet PC here, and you were talking about debt, Mark. It's actually 13th of July. November 2013. Household debt in the UK in the last decade has increased to £54,000 on average.
54. Does that include mortgage debt?
Well, I'll have to read the whole article, but I assume so. I don't know, actually. The study published found that more than 5,000 people are being made homeless each year because of rental and mortgage debts. So if you could save, like Craig's friend, nearly $6,000, what's that? About $400 a month, say. That's a big chunk of rent, isn't it?
It is, but as Craig says, the option, when you do something like this, it's a good way of learning what you can do, and perhaps some of the mindset for being self-employed once you sort of move away from having a job, because it is something that you can do with your job to start off with, and certainly I would suggest that you did do it with your job to start off with, because it does take time, as every business does, to get off the ground. So unless you actually have already a pot of money that you can use to fund yourself for a period of time, then it's always worthwhile doing that. And you learn these sort of things along the way, and obviously through hangouts like this, talking to people who have done it, have that experience of working for themselves, and it can be substantial money as well. So Obviously, I'm not giving tax advice, but there are ways of doing things that allow you to save substantial or to offset expenses against your tax bill that can be quite substantial. And certainly, one of the things a lot of people don't realise, sometimes you need the right advisors. So I use a particular firm of accountants because they have very good relationships with the tax service, which means that if they say things are going to be done in a certain way and they're happy, then they get put through, whereas I've been advised not to do some of those things by other accountants, for example. So choosing your advisors is vital in all of this.
A bit like choosing your mentor for the business, isn't it? And we're lucky to have Darren Little, who's you do as you're told and it works, doesn't it? Everybody.
Exactly. So we've talked a lot, haven't we, about savings and savings as a way, I guess, as starting to, for me, to start help build the business, really, to help start to generate some net worth, and that's the way. So the things you own, which is the way I would measure wealth. It's not about, everyone has a mentality, and I could go on forever about it, so stop me and get me talking about the earnings calculator in a minute. But one of the things that fascinates me, and it was a trap I got sucked into, and I had to change the whole way that I think, is that I would pay off a loan, for example, or I'd pay off a credit card. Then all of a sudden I would think, well, I've got that money available to pay off a new debt. I wouldn't think that, so I got into this mentality of month by month, I'm earning X, my outgoings are Y, and as soon as I've got a saving or I've got some extra money, I'm going to borrow more money to spend on holidays or a bigger car or a bigger house or whatever it may be. And it just starts spiraling out of control ultimately, because even the adverts, I see some adverts now for some oak furniture on the television, that they don't even tell you what the price is, they just tell you what the monthly cost is. So they don't even pretend now, because that's the way people think. And I think until we stop doing that and actually understanding what the true cost, and using something like the Break Free program that helps people to understand that and use that to start becoming truly wealthy. And it doesn't matter what book you use, there's all sorts of programs out there as well. I mean, Richest Man in Babylon looks at it in a slightly different way. They actually look at 20%. So 10% to pay your creditors and 10% effectively to pay yourself. So you're building some I suppose survival money, some savings that you shouldn't be touching along the way. But I just see this as a case of 10%. If I can maximise myself paying my debt, then I'm going to get to that point so much quicker. And in my case, it's like 3 years where I won't have any debt, and all that money comes back to me, and I can do all sorts of things. And that provides, on its own, tied into me earning money from other sources, which is what Xplocial does for me, tied into the savings from for example, Xplocial membership. At that significant level, if I can save $500 a month, that's a huge amount of money. I've got to earn $750 a month just to get that from a pay rise.
It's like Darren says, that it's like a back end pay rise.
Of course it is. Yeah.
Even though you're not seeing it in cash money in your hand, it's what you're not paying out is still money that's staying in your bank account because you've not had to pay it out on little chunks of 20% here and 15% there on, like you say, on the things that you're buying anyway. And if it's a big expense like a holiday, that's several hundred, if not thousands of pounds that is not going out of your bank account because you've used some of the products within Xplocial.
To be honest with you, Craig, I'd have to say it is a pay rise. Because essentially, a pay rise to us is what do we have left over at the end of the day to spend on ourselves. Once we've done the bare basics of, obviously we've got to pay our creditors, hence the reason for getting rid of those. We still have costs, so we pay rent or whatever it may be. Hopefully people have paid the mortgage and got their own house, because that it's something you haven't got to keep paying for because it's paid. But we do have other costs, you know, utility costs, food costs, you know, some things that we like to do. So a saving to me is absolutely a real pay rise, because it increases that gap in terms of how much money I've got left over to spend on myself. However I still see fit, whether I want to invest it, spend it, do whatever. And I think...
Well, Mark, we've been going for like nearly 40 minutes, Mark. We need to get onto the
okay, so
the better.
I thought we were still talking about it. So let's talk about earning money then. So we can see that we can save some substantial amounts of money, but this is called the 4K Club, and it's called the 4K Club for a reason, and that's to, as we say right up front, to earn $4,000 a month. What I want to do through the calculator is to show you just how easy that can be. Now, what I do have to do is talk about an income disclaimer, because the reality with all these things is I'm showing you the art of the possible. It's not the art of the definite. It all depends on what you decide to do as an individual and how you go about it. So none of this is ever guaranteed. It can't be, I'm afraid. But if you put the effort in, these are the things that are truly achievable. And people are doing it. People are making this sort of money after 20, 30 days. And they're doing it without selling. Now that is the topic of a previous hangout, and it might be worth just letting you know that if you go to the 4K Club website, then you'll see replays of these hangouts that we do every week that talk about some practical ways, so no nonsense ways of how you can develop a business. So let me share my screen again. Now we're looking at the opportunity itself, and I very briefly went through the sort of the two main areas. I'm not going to do that again because you can look at that in your own time. But what I do want to do is look at the earnings calculator. And remember, this is looking at earnings based on the Premier or the Fast Start level, which gives you access to all of the savings that we've been discussing. So what can you earn? Without building and having a massive number of people in your group, in your team. So what we believe within the 4K Club, and actually what is promoted within Xplocial, is that we're looking to recruit 6 people. And the way this works is when we recruit 6, we're passing up 3 of those to the person that sponsored us, because and there's a very good reason for it, because we need their help to mentor us. It's a payment for mentoring us to actually help build our business. And when you have a good mentor, then your ability to accelerate your success in whatever business you choose is massive. And you can look at all sorts of texts and books, and they all talk about you need the right people around you, the right mentor group around you, to actually help grow your business. And that's what this is all for. So those 6 people, let's say we help them to get 6 themselves as well. And what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to go down just 2 levels, because what I want to show you is that with a pretty small number, particularly compared to lots of other schemes out there and other programs out there, you don't need to sponsor a huge number of people to actually get to that middle level, the median level of earnings that would allow you to pack in your job and do this full-time or even part-time. So what does that do? That gives us a monthly commission of $3,700, which is almost spot on, just slightly more than that medium level of earnings. So that's $44,000 a year. Remember, as Craig said, some of the costs that we have associated with this can be offset against that income. So it comes out of pre-tax income rather than post-tax, which is what we're having to do at the minute. So and that all helps to keep more money in your pocket.
And in your example, Mark, there's another 9,000 savings on top of that, in effect.
Yeah, exactly. So if we did that, that also gives you access to all those savings. So that in my pocket essentially is worth nearly £55,000 a year. So dollars a year even. You do
and
that.
Then we go on to the bonuses as well.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just coming down onto those. So that's remember, that is happening every month as well. That's not one-off. That's what you get each month. And obviously, if you continue to help support your team and grow your team and help them to grow as well, then that increases, and I'll show you that in a moment. But as you can see, just looking at these words in green, we've got other commissions potentially available to us. So, for example, we have a Fast Start program, which, remember, this is a 2-year program which has a starting fee of $399, and then you pay $99.95 every month, and that gives you a nearly $500 saving over the 2-year period from taking the Premier. But if you get someone on that, then you get a one-off $250 commission. There's a Fast Start bonus. So if you can get the 6 that we talked about directing to you within your first 18 days, and we help you to do that, then there's another 250 there. So if all 6 of those signed up on the Fast Start, you'd have 6 lots of 250. So that's 3. Do my maths properly.
3 pass-ups, so you got 750. Mark.
Yeah, exactly. And then there are other bonuses which are all geared to financially rewarding you for the success you have in building your team, and that just goes on and on and on, and allows you to earn some substantial values. But what I do want to know, it's very easy, I think, to get carried away with numbers. So what I like to focus on is, how many people are we really talking about? We're talking about having signing up of sponsoring 6 people, just 6 people, and then helping them to do the same. So this is about helping people, it's about educating people, it's about sharing. We're not in competition with each other, because we're all helping each other to generate some good income here that allows all of us to do this full time and have freedom and some money. So let me go back and let's see what happens if we go a bit deeper. So we'll carry on with, we recruit our 6 and they recruit 6. But let's go down, I'm only going to go down 1 extra level, so from 2 to 3. And if you remember, when we were looking at 2, that was giving us $3,700 each month. Just that 1 extra level suddenly changes things, doesn't it? And what does 11,400 a month, what would that do for you? And again, let's add the 9 onto it as well, on top of that. So that's $147,000 a year.
I think back into UK, that's probably £6,000 or £7,000. Would that be right?
Yeah, 147 is about £100,000, isn't it, a year? So the 11.4, I can't try and do some quick maths, about 8, I think.
Right.
As a bit of a guess.
Yeah, that's okay then.
Yeah, it's not bad, is it? It's not bad. I have earned that, and you can do a lot with £8,000 every month.
That'll change a lot of people's lives.
Yeah. Oh, massively.
Yeah.
Particularly if you, again, coming back to the savings and paying off your debt, if you tie all this together, and that £8,000 really is £8,000, and all that the only outgoings you really got are your utilities and your food, then that is it's definitely life-changing money.
Well, I talk to people and they're happy with maybe it's £500, £1,000, and they'll say, well, dream a little. What actually is going to let you leave your job is going to get you on that holiday that you want, is going to buy that car that you want.
Yeah.
People need to start dreaming a little bit because it's very achievable.
It is. And I think, with all these things, the more time you can devote, and I talked before, didn't I, about this is something you can do whilst you've got a job. Skills you can learn whilst you've got a job. There's a team around you to help you develop those skills. And you can see, yes, it starts off slowly, but I'll tell you what, it's really nice to suddenly have another source of income bringing in $285 every month. It's really nice to get that, because even that, that pays for your holiday, for example. These bits start to give some real impact, and if you want to use that to top up your repayments on your loans, then use it for that. You then help those people to get 6 of their own. That suddenly becomes over $1,000 every month, on top of what you're probably already earning. So we're starting to very quickly move into territory that has a big impact on people. That essentially is a third extra on most people's income, on the median income, and probably more than that for most people. So
Can I just say that these type of things, I always make it seem simple, and it is. It is simple, but it's not always easy. And we all do this because we want to be our own boss. And really, when you're coming into this, you are starting a new career. You are starting a new job. And what I see happen, and I've recruited 25 people in a month, and what you see with some of the team is that they come on and they go, right, I'm going to do it, and they watch a training once, and they go and they give it a go, and it doesn't work immediately, so they quit. If they actually went to a new job and the boss said, right, sit down, watch this video, watch it once, then get going, and we expect you to perform, you'd tell him where to go off, wouldn't you? You'd say, well, this is ridiculous. I need proper training, and I need, someone to help and mentor me and all that and do it. But I see people just go off and do it. They just throw themselves in, don't get anywhere because they're not even doing it properly, because they've only watched a video once, and they go Lone Ranger, as Darren Little says, and he keeps telling me off that I've done that. So it's good to have that mentor to sort of pull you in shape, and if you just let your ego get out of the way, leave your ego at the door, do as you're told, appreciate you are starting a new job, so you need to learn what you're doing. If I decided today I wanted to go and be an architect, I'd be a useless architect, because I know nothing about architecture and how to draw plans. You have to learn how to do it, and it can take time. But if you commit to just getting 6 people, I promise you, once you get 6 people, you can recruit 600. Once you get it, once you've done it, and you broke inertia, like Sarah's just broken inertia. She's been going and going and going and going. To be honest, probably thought about quitting a couple of times, and then all of a sudden, bang! It's just like they're just lined up, and they want to work with Sarah and they want to join her. We don't recruit people, we sponsor people, genuinely help them. And that's all I wanted to say, Mark. Sorry, just if everybody, all you got to do is get 6, and just commit to getting 6. It's not a lot of people, honestly. When you look at the amount of people on Facebook in network marketing groups, small business groups, home-based business groups, all the entrepreneurs out there, it is not a lot of people to expect to find 6 somewhere in the world.
Yeah, it's not at all, and I think it's very easy to get carried away with numbers. So I am going to show you one more level down, just to show you, the impact of that. But I would suggest, and that again comes back to the name of our group and why we've done it, is we want to keep this real and real for people, and we want to give advice and support and help people without all of the sort of hype, really. Because there's a lot of that around. But as Paul says, the actual things you have to do to be a success are very simple. We tend to overcomplicate these things, and we tend to decide to go our own way because it can't be that simple, surely. It's the thing that goes through. But the reality, as Paul says, the people who succeed keep it very simple. They do what they're told, and the rewards come very quickly as soon as that happens. So let me do that. Just finish off with going down to 4 levels.
I'm going to fall off my chair.
I know.
Yeah, I'm going to lay on the floor anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Darren, who's our millionaire mentor, Darren Little has personally recruited 285 people.
Yeah, put that
And you know
in
what, guys?
the calculator.
So something else just to realise is that Darren is not in America. Darren cannot use the majority of the savings that are in there. Because sometimes people go, "Oh, it's American." Darren is in Canada, not
Yes,
America.
he's
He
in
can't
Canada.
Go Canada. So if you do 285, and let's just say three people, Mark, should we go for the 4 people rather than
4.
the 6?
Let's go with the 4. And how many levels do you think Danny's got?
It's 9 million. I've done it already. Something daft.
Should we leave it?
Ago, and I know he's gone down at least 6 levels. I know he's got
Should we
people
do it?
that have gone down 6 levels. Yeah, go on, go for 6 levels. It'll probably blow up. Might not be able to code.
Come on, let's see it.
I know he's got that money.
You look great.
No. But even if he's here,
There you go.
that's that. You know that. At the end of the day, if and I think we'd be more than happy with these figures each month, wouldn't we?
Well, I've had worse days.
Yeah, exactly. So even if we didn't go down, although clearly it shows the value of going down, and we managed to recruit that many people directly, $21,000 a month. So
Mark, is this a little bit closer to what you make right now?
I'd like to think so. Not quite that level.
Pay cut, but he wants more time with his family.
Are you looking at this level or that level?
But the thing is it's so easy to get carried away. It doesn't work out like that in real life.
No, reality does bite, and as you say,
we keep it very realistic with what we do, and you know, Gregory Hinton, who's on our team, you know, he's $4,500 in 45 days. Somebody did $7,500. You know, in the first month they got to $7,500. You know, it is possible, but it's you know, being realistic, especially if you're new to this. You know, just keep it real, especially the way that we're taught to do it. That definitely works. You know, it's just, you know, it takes a little bit longer.
Use your upline. You know, I'm getting people are saying, "Oh, I can't do this." Well, use me. You know, it's a very simple process. Don't complicate it. Use the training. Any problems, come back to me. It's a team effort. It's not one man against the world. It's a team effort.
Yeah. That's all about. Cool. So, is that it, Mark? Have you got anything else to add?
Well, I think we've been going for about an hour, haven't we?
Yeah, it was meant to be about 45 minutes, but Mark gets really passionate about helping people get out of debt. So that's brilliant, Mark. Thank you very much. Has anybody got any closing comments or questions they'd like to ask while we're all gathered?
Yeah, I was just picking up on Mark's comment about, you know, we trade time for money, all of us who are in jobs, and I thought that was a really interesting point. Because if you read the book The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, you know, he talks about how the rich people who are all sat in the golf club, you know, drinking their gin and tonics in the afternoon, they've learned to get money working for them, and that's what this does for you.
We should start a book club.
I wonder if I could. Can I share a little bit more about my post that I put in the other day?
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
Of course you can, Joe.
To me, the biggest thing is that it relates directly to a lot of what Darren Little has said, and that is, if you can change somebody's state, then they're on your side. And I've also found too is that if I'm not thinking about me, if I'm thinking about the other person, then I happen to be a better person at that time. So if I'm delivering a pizza, I'm knocking on the door, I'm talking to the person, and I'm actually engaging myself. I'm with them. I'm looking at their door, I'm looking at their property, I'm seeing that they've got a nice property, I compliment them, I say nice things. And the only reason why I say these nice things is because I believe it and I feel it. And it comes across that way. So when I do that, what happens is it transmits itself to them, they're happier. I can actually physically see on their face that, well, they're happier, then everybody gets along better. When the door shuts, I know that they're happier, and I also know that I'm happier because of it too, because I've actually made a difference in somebody else's life. I know truly that this same thing happens in the computer. If you want to pass it through to on Skype, if you want to pass it through on a message on iMessage, on your phone, whatever it just happens because you have to start with caring about the person first. I truly believe the money will come if you start thinking about the person first. And that's all I want to share on that issue.
I promise you, John, it does, and it's a very simple thing to do, but very hard to actually do in practice. So many people are like, got to get my six, got to get my six, got to get my commission, got to earn my money. Once you let that go, it comes.
This is where dropping the ego comes in. It's not about you. It's all about them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Anyone else?
Yeah.
Cheers to you all.
Yeah, I think we're all there. Right.
I think I've just changed your state.
Great. It's great to have you on board.
Yeah, it's good.
No problem.
Like I say, there's no kind of jealousy in Xplocial. We're in 42 countries for the business opportunity. There are teams, but I mean, Tom Westrick, who runs a great team, posted in our group page the other day, "Oh, come over, say hello." Everybody's welcome to join. I mean, fantastic.
I'm getting
Where else do you
people.
get that?
We want everyone to win.
Wanting some experience, and I'm like, well, I'm a newbie. I'm just doing what Darren says. I'm just opening up, saying I'm coachable. That's all I'm saying. Go back
You
to
got
the
your
video.
wife on board.
Right, we'll leave you to sign off then, Mark, if you want to close up.
Okay.
You've got the button, haven't you? You've got the big red button to end the
I have
call.
actually, yeah. I forgot that. I'm in charge, aren't I? So another hour then on getting out of debt.
Yeah, another hour on getting out of debt.
All right.
Thank you,
So
Mark.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I mean, just to say, I think check out the other videos on the 4K Club. It's 4kclub.info, because you'll find there some really useful information about where we share, how simple it is to be honest, in terms of finding people to sponsor, in terms of having the right conversations with them, and also other areas. So, for example, Sarah did something on LinkedIn as well. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you very much, Mark. That was brilliant.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.